Hello and welcome back to Adventuring Academy. My name is Brennan Lee Mulligan. We are so excited to have a very special guest with us today. Please welcome Krystina Arielle.
Hi, it's very nice to be here today. Thank you for having me on your show, Brennan. Hi, Internet.
You may know Krystina as Ariza from Sirens, as Barra Posset from Critical Role All Honey Honey Heist. You may know her from The Stream of Many Eyes last year, and you will certainly know her this year for The Descent, which should be live to the public May 18th and 19th, which is the Coast's big live stream event.
Yes, we're actually playing that Saturday at, I believe it's 5 o'clock. It's going to be myself, and we're going to have, our DM is going to be Marisha Ray, who is amazing.
We just had on the podcast, I think 2 episodes ago, and she's your dungeon master for Honey Heist as well.
Yes.
So playing with Marisha, we're gonna see that lovely Barra Posset Honey Heist chemistry back with Marisha. That's lovely.
I'm very excited. So it's Marisha's gonna be the DM. We've got Deborah Ann Wall, Matthew Lillard, Satine Phoenix, who is also my DM. So that's gonna be really exciting.
That's awesome.
And Patrick Rothfuss, who is super cool, and Kate Welch, who is okay, I have to tell you a Stream of Many Eyes story from last year.
Yes, please.
So at the opening event for the Stream of Many Eyes last year, we had this kind of welcome mixer, and we had name tags, and so you had your name and everything, and I was fangirling because I love Kate Welch and I think she's fantastic, and she's got pretty hair and she smells nice. So anyway, I'm really excited, and she gets home and she sends me a picture of the bottom of her shoe, and my name tag had gotten stuck to her shoe. I never knew where it ended up going, so my name tag is stuck to the bottom of her shoe. So basically, I am her Andy and she is my Buzz.
Perfect. Well, I'm so glad. I mean, this is it's first of all, it is a testament, I think, to this game that every single person I have met involved in playing this game out in LA, both in the home games I've been a part of and the people that do D&D performance and live streaming, are a eerily lovely, nice community of people. Just over to the point where you're what's going on here? Everyone is so sweet. I have yet to be a part of any single game. Satine Phoenix was on the show, the most delightful human being in the world.
She's not, I don't think she's actually a human. I think she might be a pixie or an elf. Because she's just delightful to be around. She makes me very happy.
It's true. And you play in Sirens with her. And that is such an exciting, fun game to play in. What is the, in terms of playing a game with this all bard campaign, is Ariza the longest running PC you've been playing, or are there other characters you've been running for longer?
No, she actually, okay, so background story, I had always wanted to play D&D, but never had the means or a way to kind of start playing out. I don't know. It was one of those weird things. But this community, the first person that I met that welcomed me into it was Satine Phoenix. Mm-hmm. We went out to lunch last January, and we had this amazing talk and chemistry. And then she called me a couple months later and is like, "I know you want to play D&D. Do you want to be on Sirens?" And I was like, yeah. So my very first game of Dungeons and Dragons was live on stream. I played on Sirens of the Realms. Ariza is my very first character, and that's why she means the world to me. I love to play her. And everything that has kind of grown around it, and this community has just been extremely welcoming, and it's been learn as you go, kind of mildly thrown to the wolves, figure it out. But Satine gave me a nice starter of this is da-da-da-da, but mostly have fun and go out and do the thing.
Man, well, first of all, props to you for having the to go in front of a camera and be hey, this is one of the most complex games ever created. I'm gonna hack it here on the camera in front of you guys. That's awesome.
And we also have to sing in games. So it's it's gotten to the point where now it's kind of second nature. I think my ultimate favorite spell is Scorching Ray. And so I got to do my Scorching Ray, oh Scorching Ray, and sing this song about Scorching Ray as an opera. And just to be able to grow with this character and to grow with Sirens, and just from that first game to the family that we are now, this community has been so welcoming and so amazing to me, and just to be able to be a part of it and to play this game. And like, I fell head over heels. I mean, like head over heels with this game.
Beautiful. Like, oh my God, that rules.
Yeah,
That's
I love it.
awesome.
I love this thing.
And I see you're rocking the Beholder pin as well.
Okay, so I get to tell this story. I'm very excited to tell you guys this story. So my dress is actually by Sofia Vergara for her Sophia Jeans collection at Walmart. And the pin is a Death Saves Beholder pin. So I like to think that I'm shipping my outfit because it's Sofia Vergara and Joe Manganiello. And so my dress and my pin are husband and wife, and they love each other. And they're very excited to be here. So I just had to say that because I'm very excited about it. This is genuine joy. Like,
I believe it. It's genuine joy for me as well. That's beautiful. That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit, because we get a lot of communication on our Discord from fans of Adventuring Academy and of Dimension 20, of people that have nerves. And I think that especially with D&D, look, I've been playing since I was 10 years old, and so to me my whole life has been in this game, and it's something to me that I want to share as much as possible. I mean, my favorite thing in the world is to teach this game to people that are playing it for the first time and make it as fun and accessible as possible. Even with that, there are so many people that are like, I so want this, but I'm nervous that it's not for me, or I'm nervous that I'm going to slow things down, or people aren't going to want to help me, or they're not going to want to include me. For you to like jump into something that, even though I think there's a lot of welcoming people involved with it, the game itself can be a little daunting. There's a lot of textbooks, there's a lot of rules. The game can be a little bit daunting. Were there nerves for you going into that? And what were kind of the lessons learned as you went from brand new into now having been on a regular game for the entire span of the show?
I think one of the most, the big things for me was I was very nervous. I'm not going to be like, I went in and I was all gangbusters, ready to go. No, if you notice the whole first half of that game, like while I was waiting for my character to like be introduced, I've got this hood up over my head and I've got like sweaty palms. I'm super nervous. And I had been like in my player's handbook, I wrote and rewrote my spells. I was writing everything over and over to like commit it to memory. I'm on D&D Beyond, like trying to like click on the links to like find out like what is this, and I'm scared that I'm gonna like how many spell slots do I have? How many spells can I do in this game? What am I gonna do? Like it's very nerve-wracking, but I was very fortunate, like even if I did have a momentary lapse, like I think that first game, Jason Charles Miller was like, hey, like this is XYZ that you do. And it's very great to play with Satine because she's kind of like, okay, like if you can't find something in a certain time period, like we'll roll with it, or like she's not like, you got this wrong, like the rules. And that's kind of one of the things I was scared about, especially to do it live on stream, was to have people who do know the game, that are familiar with it, that have been playing for years, be like, noob, you don't know anything. Like that was like a gigantic fear for me. But to not have that, and to not have that criticism, just to be able to grow as a player, I think has played a very big role in me continuing to play the game and moving on to, I did Iron Keep Chronicles with Saving Throw Show.
Awesome.
And that was regardless. She was great. But like it's just this opportunity to bring out other parts of yourself. And for me, that's a big deal, especially as a Black woman in the world, like to be able to create a character that has like no restrictions, that just gets to be this whole person. Even if it's not myself, it's a whole other person. It's another, but mostly like a lot of my characters have parts of my personalities, like they all tell horrible puns all of the time, but like I get to be lighthearted and carefree in game in a way that sometimes I don't have the opportunity to be in life, because I'm always on guard or expected to be something, or waiting to disprove this idea that like this preconceived notion that people have of me. Like there's no preconceived notions in the game for me. Like I get to go in and just be this character. I get to go in and live this fantasy life and sing and be carefree until my DM does something that doesn't let me be carefree. Satine. But it's like, I just love this game, and it was terrifying at first, but the more you play and the more you bond with your campaign members, I think that's one of the biggest things for me is like these people that I didn't know are some of my best friends in the world now. Like that is the joy of this game, is the camaraderie that it creates. It's like even like to the internet, to everywhere, like we're together. We have this relationship that I can't say that I've had that kind of, like even in organized sports, that I've had those kind of relationships form so quickly, and to go through slaying Tarrasques together and things like that, like it creates a camaraderie. Like even if it's fantasy, it's slowly becomes family.
Oh, fantasy becomes family is the slogan of the century.
Yeah, nailed it.
Nailed it. That's so beautiful. And there's so much that you said there that is like so beautiful and profound and touching. And I think especially we had a friend of mine, Molly Ostertag, on the podcast a while ago, who was talking about the increased visibility of LGBT players in the game. And it's this bizarre thing where, you know, like, I played when I was a little kid, and I remember, you know, the classic kind of gatekeeper mentality you can talk about in like gaming stores and stuff like that, where there is like a certain type of like, this is the type of person that plays D&D, and you watch the kind of gatekeeper mentality. And what's so...
I'm here to destroy that completely and fully. I'm here to kick open every gate, and no one can stop me.
Hell yeah. We are pro gates coming down here on Adventuring Academy. And well, the thing that is so profound about that is, in talking with Molly about it and also being here, the idea of like these communities, no one could possibly benefit more from the idea of magical, heroic adventure stories about, and the idea too of like, especially you're talking about being guarded all the time. And I think there's something incredible that is available in fantasy and role playing in general with the idea of, here is a place for you to explore your identity through the lenses of people you could be in stories in a way where you get to experience them viscerally and truthfully without consequence in your real life. And talking with Molly about it, it's that same thing that why I think these games are so powerful, is providing a story where you can experiment with identity, you can experiment with values. What does it mean to believe this versus believe this? What does it mean to change in this way? And to do that in a story where you get to explore consequences and reactions of a vibrant living world, and then stand up from the table surrounded by friends and loved ones, having learned what you learned, but not having to deal with those consequences of the real world where you have to constantly be on your guard. It's so profound, and it makes me so happy that those gates are crashing down all around us. Really beautiful.
And it's important because I wanted to play this game as a kid, but like I wasn't going to walk into a game shop and get the same type of reception that somebody else might have gotten. And a lot of that, it's terrifying. Like I already had to deal with that as somebody that loved comic books, that loved superheroes, and it's like, you don't like Dragon Ball Z, and it's like, I will Kamehameha you in the face. Like it was like there was enough of that I like, it created this fear, but like I just still wanted it. I still wanted to, like, instead it was like I'm at home playing video games and doing that. But now just to be able to even have this community, and to have this community provide a platform to talk about things that are important to me. And like I know like people kind of do this thing where it's like if you're new to a thing, they make you feel bad for being like the noob label, like can be very negative. But everyone that's a professional was once a beginner. Like everyone started somewhere. Just because your story starts later doesn't make it any less valid or of great concern, or it doesn't mean that you can't go on to be a great person in that area or influential in that field. And I don't really care about any of the stuff. Like the opportunities that have come because of it, I am hella grateful for. Yeah. I love it, and I love the people that this has brought into my life. I love the like I wouldn't be sitting right here right now if it weren't for this game and what it's brought to my life. But to be able to get people's ear and to have them listen to things that I do truly find important is something that I didn't know if I'd ever have in this life. And to know that it came to me from Dungeons and Dragons and cosplay and all the stuff that I do, like the things that are important to me. Like, I've been a nerd a long time. And like to know that that would be the thing, like I have made a career out of being myself.
Yeah.
And that for me is huge. And I'm really grateful that this door was open and that somebody went to that gate, unlatched it, and let me in, because it changed my life. And it's a home. It is such a home for me now. And like when I don't play, I feel like something is missing. If I'm not like in story, like creating something, then I feel like something is missing. And I can't put it into words, like what this game has brought to me as far as just finding parts of myself and seeing myself and just a space to exist that makes I'm really trying not to cry. I'm sorry, I'm super emotional. But no, like I just love it a lot.
First of all, if the tears come, you can trust me and Alphonse. We are, maybe not Alphonse, but you can trust me. And secondly, yeah, it's profound and deep and meaningful. And it's crazy to me. I will say on an emotional level for myself, I remember when D&D was not popular, and I know that a lot of gatekeeping comes from chips on shoulder around that. And I just did an AMA the other day where someone asked, like, what's it like to see a hobby you've been doing since you were a kid suddenly blow up in popularity? And first of all, it's like, well, some of the reasons that it wasn't popular were people were being actively excluded, right? And then secondarily, it's like, how could I have any reaction other than pure joy to watch a thing that I've known was awesome forever suddenly explode, and all these people that have been excluded suddenly get to rush in to the table and enrich the entire art form. And like, you see that with all the incredible streams that are going on right now. You see that with like the stories that are being told for the first time. And I love what you're saying too about like this game providing a platform to tell a story, to share your values, to share your worldview, because that's what it has always been at its best. Thinking about like the stories that you've told in this game and through these through this medium, are there any values that you've been able to express or share through Ariza or other characters that you've played? And is there any, like, I guess on the flip side, like catharsis or revelations you've had internally from playing those characters that were like surprising to you through your career playing the game?
I never thought that I would use a game to process grief.
Wow.
I lost my best friend December 23rd of 2006 to a drunk driver.
I'm so sorry.
And one of the things that is a part of Ariza's story that we ended up processing just this last season, we went into kind of a dreamscape situation, and it was like we had to face all of our worst moments in life. Like the character Zara's had to face her wedding day where her husband died. And for me, like one of the things that Ariza was always trying to like help people and save people, because she couldn't save this character, Leanna. And Leanna is based on my friend Rebecca Lynn Partain, who I lost. And I just to be able to kind of like to face that in a way that I haven't, even in the time that's passed, like to sit down and actually like openly grieve and weep and sing about her and let all of these feelings out that I usually only express one day, like on her birthday and on the day that we lost her, like because you get this fear of talking about loss because you don't want to make other people uncomfortable. Like with grief, we hold so much of it inside. So to have this opportunity to like remember and honor like somebody that means that much to you in a different way through story, like I never expected that, but I'm extremely grateful for it, because I was like, that week was a really bad week for me. And I remember when Satine told me like we were gonna delve into kind of like our worst places, and I was like, this is something that I really need to process and talk out and work through. And like she made it possible. She gave me like the room. And the great thing about the players at the table during that game was that everyone gave each other space. Like, it wasn't like, it's my show, like it wasn't like a like look at me kind of game. Like, it was giving, it was because we had Nathan Sharp and Patrick Rothfuss were our guests for that show, and even like with their characters working through stuff, everyone gave each other room to tell their stories, to work through whatever it was, and even if it was just character related, because we get attached to these characters. Like, Ariza is me. She is a very large part of me as a person, and there's parts of me that I'm as open as I am about a lot of things that are still very dear to me. So to be able to process that is, so it's I'm not trying to be super deep, I promise. But
be super deep. Well, there's no point to life if we're not going to get super deep. What are we going to skate on the surface?
I could be shallow. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'd rather talk real with you, and like that's how this game is for me. Like, I deal with very real things through it and process, and I love that everyone has that opportunity to live their truth, like to be truthful, to be honest, even in this fantasy. Like, we have so many opportunities to just exist, and that's grief, that's joy, that's love, that's so many emotions, and no one's afraid of it. I've seen grown men crying game and realizing that there's nothing wrong with grown men crying. It's very normal. Your emotions are valid. Honor your emotions, and this game gives you a chance to be emotional and honor those without any fear or worries and concerns about being seen as less than, because like, it's everything. Like, we can be so much and create so much, and there's an honesty and truth that we find in this that I honestly have not found anywhere else.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for getting real and being deep, because truly, I say this with full disclosure that I was a philosophy major, and I apologize, and that's a bummer for everybody. What are we doing in this life if not getting to the real shit that actually matters and is deep and profound and significant? And if we do some puns along the way, that's great. Regardless. But to nerd out on everything you just shared for a second. So I was raised by, my mom was a writer, and she was also a Celtic Arthurian scholar. I went to like spring Celtic Beltane festivals growing up, and we had like Joseph Campbell in the house, and all this stuff. And it's not lost on me. And I always kind of circle back to this in my head, which is always the idea of mythology. And you go through all over the world, and you will find rituals of shared group communal storytelling, and people, wearing masks to create profound spiritual mythological significance. I don't think it's lost on me that some of the most cathartic moments I've had have been when I was pretending to be someone else, because, and I think weirdly it comes back to walls and putting your guard up in a way, that a lot of ego and a lot of the moments where we are ourselves living in the material logistical world, where we're late for a thing and we got to get to a thing and the check's got to clear and we got to get to the thing and it's transactional and material and clicky and yada, yada, yada. It's no wonder that this layer of grime builds up on you that makes it, I think, hard to reach catharsis, and especially when huge traumatic things happen, or not even traumatic, but just like moments of grief or moments of intense loss, that you sink into that material grime covering your regular day-to-day self, and you can hold off processing, and you can hold off on growth or transformation. And it takes going to Gelgador and being the hero, Fistan Dantilius, whatever, Darian Silverspear, it takes becoming that a second to suddenly let the fucking walls down for a second and
stop saying I'm fine.
And stop saying I'm fine. and you're making the death saves, or you're watching as your ally does, or something is happening in a moment. And because it's fictional, you let your walls down because you're like, this is a story. But your walls come down nonetheless. And we've talked about this on the podcast before, that like your imagination is the same center of your brain that processes visual information. Like your mind's eye and your eye are the same thing. You store memories of stories in the same place you store memories of your life. Your brain doesn't sort out powerful stories from your real life. And so you let those walls down because it's fiction, and then all of a sudden you're having a profound experience and you're processing something that can transform you. I can think of times that I've had like moral revelations, moments of like profound sadness or emotionality, discovering shit about myself that was like either like confirmed something that I always thought that wanted to be true, or then going into a character and discovering something that I didn't like about myself and suddenly had the strength and perspective to work on. Like all of that is so profound. And the fact that it's like we're like having slices of pizza and some soda and there's some dice getting rolled doesn't really change it from the primal ancient act of like shared mythology and finding human truth through character and storytelling.
But I think it also goes back to what we were talking about earlier with some of the people that you meet being like some of the kindest and tenderest people that you've ever met. And like, I think a lot of that is we have shared tragedies. Like a lot of us have been through tragedies. A lot of us have suffered losses. A lot of us have gone through traumatic experiences. And to have this place that is in itself kind of this safe space to exist that a lot of us have not had because of our traumas, because of living in that place of pain and suffering and letting ourselves stay there. Like we finally have this place where we know how it is. We know how safe it is. We know how it made us feel. We know what we've been able to express and overcome and work through. And we see other people and we want them to have that. Mm-hmm. It's not to keep it away. It's not like that's why we're seeing this breakdown of the gatekeeper mentality, is because there is a lot of healing in this community. There's a lot of healing in this game that in this storytelling, in this shared experience, and we want other people to experience it. Yeah. And like the people that have welcomed me in, and I mean people like Tanya DePass and Matthew Mercer and of course Satine and Marisha, like these are people who, Erica Ishii of course, like these are people who have like welcomed me openly with open arms, and I've cried with, I've talked about life and experiences, and then we play a game together. But like there's so much to it that is just beautiful and brings us together. And I want, like, it's like church. I want to go and like tell it on a mountain how much I love this game and these people, and they're amazing and they make me feel so good about myself, and I want to make them feel good. And if they're like, sometimes I just like pick up the phone and it's like my people in the game, I'm just like, hey, like, how are you today? How's your heart? How are you feeling? Because there's such a bond that's created through this, and I'm so freaking grateful.
Whoo! Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else to say, but there's just gratitude. It really is. And the people you meet here. And I think, too, that there is something powerful about the idea of the game and the silliest, most fun parts of the game still are about teamwork and an adventure. Like there is no winner to D&D. Nothing, your characters can die, but there's no real loss or winning. And to me, it's like everything that makes the game significant are the stakes you put in it and bring to it, and the way that everyone loves their characters and falls in love with the story. And so, like, I don't think it's an accident that you find communities of people that are inherently, like, social and helpful and kind and want the best for people, because the game on a mechanical level rewards that. It is about that. It's about groups of heroes working together.
It's literal teamwork. There's no me in team. Well, there's a me in team. There's no I in team, but there's a me. But you don't focus on the me because you focus on the team.
Yes, and also in the word teamwork is the word or, such as. Or we could do some audience questions.
Yay!
I gotta get better at these segues. That was just a profound conversation. I really loved that. I wanted to acknowledge that before we moved on to these.
Let's talk more.
Let's talk more. Guys, we get all our questions from our Dropout exclusive Discord server. If you want to submit questions, you got to sign up for Dropout. And I don't know why you haven't already, because if you're watching this interview on YouTube, you could have been watching it weeks earlier if you were signed up for Dropout. So...
Are you saying that they could drop out of YouTube and start watching on Dropout?
Woo! You heard it here first. Our first question here is from CIT. Thanks, CIT. What are some ways for an anxious or nervous player to build better role-playing skills? This is a great question. What are some ways for an anxious or nervous player to build better role-playing skills?
Start role-playing in random places. This sounds really weird, but I'm dead serious. So one of the ways, like, also, you want everybody to have a good day, I hope. I hope you're those kind of people. But, like, go to McDonald's and, like, speak as your character while you're doing an order, like, in the drive-thru. Like, use your character in different parts of life to get used to them. And, like, do it in those, like, if you have a robocall. Nobody wants to take, like, one of those calls, but they can be very fun if you play it right. I'm just saying, somebody calls you and they're like, "Hello, ma'am, I'd like to talk to you about your credit card." "But I don't have a credit card, ma'am." "But you do have a credit card." "No, I don't." "Do you?" And then you just kind of carry on. And it's like, then you start asking them about their day, but you just do it as your character. And instead, like, talking to strangers is... I mean, I know they tell you don't talk to strangers, but, like, I talked to strangers my whole life because strangers are only strangers till you say hello. But, like, use those opportunities to, like, speak as your character, to get used to talking in your character's voice or whatever that may be. And just, like, it is. Like, just go out into the world and, like, be your character sometimes.
The idea of, "Hello? Why, yes, I will be voting in the local school board election. Perhaps you'd like to tell me more about the candidate you'd like me to endorse."
Yes! That is exactly it! Those are the things you gotta do. And, like, it gets less awkward the more you do it. It's only awkward till you do it.
That's the thing. And I think there's a big thing in that, too, which is that idea of... is there going to be some awkwardness when you start role-playing for the very first time? Yes. And the trick is to treat that like... there's an old quote that I love. It's one of those old, like, stoic kind of quotes. And it's, "If you're going through hell, keep going."
That's a country song.
Is it really?
If you're going through hell, just keep moving. I'm from the country. Anyway.
But that's true, which is like, I promise it will get less awkward with practice. And that's an answer. We get a lot of questions on the podcast. I get a lot of questions online from people that are like, "What's the one secret tip that's going to make it?" And it's like, log more hours, do it more. I know it's not fun. I know it would be cool if there was like the one trick DMs don't want you to know, but there is no such trick.
It's called long hours spent getting used to this and doing it over and over and over and over again.
It's really true. I would say, too, that as we often say on the podcast, conversation is key. So if you're feeling a little bit shy or anxious about role-playing, I would bring that up to your DM and to your fellow players. One of the things I think is nice, especially if you're playing a lower status character, is to form, before you start playing, a pre-existing relationship, maybe even with like a higher status character who's in that game, where you can have a friendship there so that a player that has a lot of ease driving scenes and making big choices also knows to look out for you. And I think it's incumbent on people that have the ability to create space for themselves to create that space for people that need some practice getting used to doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're a little bit shy or anxious, be like, if you're playing like a quiet wizard, be friends with the loud bard who's super charismatic, and they can, create situations for you to get your sea legs under you, to get used to that kind of thing.
Or you can do like I did my first couple of games and just take a few minutes to cry. Just cry. If you need to, like, cry, be nervous, like, feel that whole thing. I did. Literally, I tell the story all the time. Before we did Honey Heist, I was super nervous because it was like, I'm at this table of people where I feel like super out of my league because it's like, Laura Bailey, like, and I felt like, like, why am I here? And I was super anxious, and I cried. I felt super nervous. And then Taliesin Jaffe came over, and he gave me a really big hug, and he was super nice to me, and he stood off to the side, and he was like, and it was kind of like, there's something in having, like, if you see one of your players, like fellow players, that's super nervous, like, in just telling them, like, go have fun, it's going to be okay. At the end of the day, it is just a game. You're going to feel your feelings, and those feelings are valid. Your nerves are valid. Honor that, but just keep going. But, like, you're going to be okay from someone is sometimes the best possible thing that you can do. Like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Most of the things are going to come down to the roll of a dice, but just let it happen and live in it and feel your feelings, get them out, and then go out there and do the damn thing.
I love that. Also, Taliesin Jaffe is the sweetest human being that there has ever been.
With the best hugs.
He's awesome. I truly talked to him until 5 o'clock in the morning because I was like exhausted. I was like, I can't stop talking to this guy. He's the most interesting human being I've ever met in my life.
That's what happens when you live for 1,000 years. Like, you just, like, become the coolest person to ever exist.
Whoa, so that was what the Fool's Crusade was. Incredible. That's like all this ancient history that you've lived through.
Someone knows secrets.
I love that. And there's actually something I love about what you just said too, which is that this is a little bit on me because I think I had a situation where I was teaching an improv class and I responded a little bit robotically, but someone did. I ended up saying a version of what you said, which was, someone was like, we have a class show at the end of 8 weeks, and they get up and perform on stage in front of people, and you know, it's just like it's not even mandatory. They don't have to do it, but it's like we provide an opportunity to go perform on a stage. And one of the students was like, it's like week 7, we're almost to the class show. They go, what if the class show is bad? And I looked at them and I was like, you'll feel awful and go home? You'll feel bad and go home? And like, this is on me for being a little bit robotic, but I was like, oh, you'll just go home and you'll feel bad and then it'll wear off a couple of days later and I hope you'll keep doing this. And then it was like, that was clearly not they wanted the, like, you're gonna do great. And I was like,
most first shows are gonna be bad.
And I was like, you might be bad, you know? But what I ended up saying to them was, I said, and again, this sounds overly harsh, but I meant it in a really positive way, which was basically like, the person said, well, what do I, I'm just nervous about doing a bad job. And I went, okay, do you think you'll get so nervous that you won't do the show? And the person was like, no, like I'm going to do the show no matter what. And I went, cool. So then in a kind of logistical way, at least, your fear doesn't matter. Like, you're gonna do this. You know it in yourself that you have what it takes to do this. And if you're afraid as can be and you do it, you still did it. And it's like, so certain to what you're saying of like honor the feeling. It's like, cool, you're afraid. You're still going to do it, and you're going to get good at it. And it's going to happen maybe in the first 10 seconds of playing, or maybe it'll happen after a couple sessions. But you will find it in yourself. And I don't know, for me, there's something in that idea of like, yeah, be afraid, and it doesn't have to stop you.
After about 3 hours of trying to play as a certain person, you eventually get there.
You click in.
And it's like, and it's not like I wasn't immediately a Riza when I started playing, but like as I got more into it and she became more a part of me, I knew what she would do in a scene like versus what I would do. And so much of that is just like, shh, let it happen. like seriously, like just let it happen, because it's terrifying, like to do stuff that's outside of your comfort zone, like be it gaming, be it improv, like those things are going to be uncomfortable and terrifying, but if you don't do them, you'll never learn to get better at them. You'll never learn to like give yourself space to grow and to get better until you do it.
1,000,000%. That is absolutely true. This one's from Titanium featuring Leagoo. It sounds like they're dropping a single. I'm the
hottest mixtape of all time.
All time. Titanium featuring Leagoo. K104. I'm the most experienced member of my group by a long shot. Most players in the DM started within the last year. How can I, as the experienced player, help facilitate a good gaming experience for the DM and the other players without taking away from the DM's world building and without other players feeling secondary? Right now, whenever there's a lull, I find all eyes are going to me to guide the party to the next step, and it's a little pressuring. This is a very interesting question. I've definitely had this experience because I've had friends run games and very kindly invite me to come play. I think that there's a lot of fun being an experienced player at the table. There's a lot of things you can do to help the game that don't involve taking status or control away from the DM at all. Honestly, the biggest thing that I do when I play games with people is I'm like D&D rules lawyer for the side of justice, like pro bono, where I'll be sitting there in a combat and have my other friends playing, and they'll roll and they're like, okay, that's 5 damage. And I'll be like, you forgot your sneak attack. And throw your dexterity on there too. Like making sure that other people are, because a lot of the times people mess up the rules, they're actually not gaining an advantage. Often they're messing up the rules and penalizing themselves in the process, like forgetting to add bonuses they would get, forgetting to roll with advantage when they would. So if you're an experienced player, I think you can actually help your players find moments to shine, to remind them like, no, your character's able to do this, your character's able to do that. We've had a lot of, like you're talking about your first time playing was on camera. Allie Beardsley, their first time playing was on camera for Fantasy High, for Dimension 20, our game. And they were right next to Brian Murphy, who's the DM for NADPOD, and he was like helping Allie out with a couple things like, oh no, you add this bonus here, you do that. So I think your role as the experienced person at the table can be to help other people shine and not to really steal focus, but to like help lift up the experience of other players at the table.
And in that situation, though, remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you're not saying it in a way that comes across as like, not you, but like mm-hmm. you. But like, just make sure you're not doing it in a way that comes across as condescending or like, I'm judging you because you don't know this. Because there's a lot of nerves involved, like as the new player that's still trying to figure these things out. And even if it comes down to like, writing a note as the experienced player, like writing down certain things and being like after the game, hey, like here's some stuff I thought that might be helpful for you going into the next game and stuff for you to learn, like taking those opportunities to just kind of to educate in a way that's not making someone feel bad that already might feel bad or might feel like their inexperience makes them unworthy.
Yes, I think that's really critical. And I think too that when that is something that's really hard to navigate, honestly, as a DM or if you're just an experienced player at the table. This game is filled with rules, the vast majority of which are optional. Like, think about every rule for every class and every subclass. The majority of those, if you have a four-player party, are not going to be referenced. You're not even going to have characters of that class in the game. So to have a knowledge of the depth and breadth of the rules, D&D always is going to have a disequilibrium between how much knowledge one person who's been playing it forever and ever has versus new players. So to me, the ethics of teaching and the idea of imparting knowledge without judgment or condescension is critical to the continued existence of this game. Like, this is a game that has to be taught. No one's like cold picking up 3 books from a shelf and is like, I don't know anyone who likes this. I've never heard of it, but I'm gonna give it a whack.
This makes sense to me.
This makes sense to me. It is kind of a sourdough of a game where you get a starter who's already been playing for a little while and they kind of bring it to a new group of people. So I think you have ethical responsibility to share knowledge with kindness, warmth, and zero condescension anytime you're in this environment.
And you have different DMs. Like, I've played with a lot of different DMs now at this point with lots of different styles, and it's like you got the like, this is the rigid rule thing to also like rules, we don't got no stinking rules. Like, it's just kind of like it all comes down to the people you playing with. You can be in a different situation by just switching campaigns with people. Like, it's read, learn. D&D Beyond is an amazing resource as far as coming from D&D Beyond to say herself. I think it's really great to make sure that you go and you like use those resources. There, every time you click on a different area in D&D Beyond, it tells you about like what is this for, how it's used, like what this special magic tool is for, and like utilize your resources. Like, make sure you tell new players, utilize your resources. Don't just rest on your laurels. If you have the time, like, go pick up a player's handbook and read, learn more about your character. But you're not going to know everything right away. Like, it's impossible.
I think that's absolutely true. And if you find yourself on the flip side of that, of having more experience, I think that anytime you are bringing a lot of experience, but you're in a position where you are a peer, so it's like, it's not proper for you being like, look, I've been playing for 15 years, I should be the leader of our party. Like, you're a peer. Even though this person is playing for the first time today and you've been playing forever, you are still both PCs of equal status in this party. So I think the best thing you can do when you bring a wealth of experience and knowledge to a relationship of peers is to not lead, but just model. Like, cool, you've been playing for 15 years, you have a lot of experience. Be the person listening to a DM who's struggling to get their first description of a dungeon out, and you're not on your phone. You're the one who's really looking and modeling, like listening. Be the one who, if there's a crosstalk at the table while one character is trying to have a really important moment for their character, be the person to go like, wait, I want to hear what's going on with this big emotional moment for this character right here. Like, you have the experience, so don't think about leadership or like, how do I drive or lead? Think about like, how do I model what wisdom I've collected from playing this game before? How do I just, rather than do, how do I be, if that makes sense?
Yeah, and on both ends of that question with the experienced player and the non-experienced player, learn to hear, learn to listen, like, but also learn to give. Like, there's so much of it is literally learn to give, learn to receive. And like, receive that openly, and know that the people that are in your campaign are probably coming from a really great place and just trying to be helpful. So just listen. And I know that it gets to be a lot, feeling like everything is on you to like move something along, but also know that it won't always be that way. So give those other players the grace and the time to learn. And just like ask them a question, like a very leading question, like as part of the campaign, like, oh, we're gonna go do this thing. Why don't you go check out that box over there? What do you think of that box over there? Maybe there's something in, I don't know, like lead it in a way, but also do it in a way that gives them an opportunity to speak up, that so everything is not on you.
Exactly, yeah. Creating space and providing opportunities rather than, ruling with an iron fist.
Unless you have an iron fist, in which case that'd be really awesome. You're like Jaime Lannister. He literally has an iron fist. Or gold. Gold.
It's like great. A gold plated or something. It's a gold plate, and it's also like half fist. It's like he's got a weird.
It's at an angle. Like, I want to know like what Tywin was thinking. It's like, you didn't think about your son's love life.
The most important thing for a Lannister is to be able to do that queen wave, like from the back of the car.
A Lannister always waves his hand.
I mean, that's got to be where we call it. Krystina, this has been an absolute joy. Thank you so much. I'm walking away from a conversation about D&D feeling like a much better person. I feel like centered, and my breathing is like, ooh, feels
That's
good.
my superpower.
Our guest today is Krystina Arielle. Krystina, thank you so much.
Thanks. Oh, I don't know if my name is spelled down here, but it's Krystina Arielle. It has a K and a Y, not a CHR.
For ease of looking up and following on social media, which you absolutely should do. Krystina, thank you so much. We'll catch you guys next time on Adventuring Academy. Hey gang, Brennan here. If you dig college humor and want to support what we do, sign up for Dropout. For the cost of a very big dumpling per month, you'll get videos like this a whole week sooner, to chat with us live in the Dropout Discord, and exclusive content such as Dimension 20.
There are no stupid questions.
Are you my freaking dad?
So sign up for your free trial today. Or don't. Do what you think is right. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I don't even know you. That would be crazy. It was wrong of me to tell you what to do. I'm sorry, and that's on me. I'm ruining the CTA?